Cybil,
Hey, how are you?
right on. I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for taking some time here to join the Toddcast in Vancouver, Canada.
Wow. Is
Have
it
you
already?
have you been to Hollywood North? Like we're kind of the big thing in Canada for film
I,
and TV and stuff,
I
right?
I feel like if you haven't been to Vancouver shooting something, you're not somebody.
Totally, right? It's really cool. Like as I mean, I've lived here my whole life, and there's times where they'll be filming something. And you're like, I recognize that actor. I know that actress. I've seen them and stuff.
Yeah.
And then of course when you see the actual footage of the film or the TV show or whatever, it's so cool to see your city
Yeah.
in film.
I've had that for years because I lived in New York for 24 years and every block is filmed. But now I've been here in LA for about 5 years. And you know what's funny?
Mm,
The th- that I recognized in New York and the restaurants and it's changing, And
yeah.
so I recognize as much.
Do you like LA as much as you like New York?
I mean, New York is an incredible place, right? It's an extraordinary city. The pulse, the energy, it's just one of a kind, one in the universe, right? But I have two young boys, and so I think living here is better. But at first, when I came here, I realized how much New York City was giving me. Like it kind of gave me this energy and this spark, and it's like this anything's possible. LA is different. It's beautiful. It's spacious. You've got the mountains and the ocean, you
Mhm,
know,
mhm.
but it's very different.
Yeah, I'm not wearing a Los Angeles Dodgers cap.
I'm really surprised by this hat.
Who doesn't love the Yankees? I don't know if I could trust you if you don't like the New York Yankees.
I think actually tomorrow my husband wants to go to a Dodgers game.
Oh, is that right? Well, that's fun. That's fun. Are you a big sports person?
No, no, but I like work out every day. So that's sporty.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so to the task at hand. Well, I want to start by saying congratulations on your new series.
Thank you.
So it's Malibu Mother of Two, and I read that this was kind of based on your life. Is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah. I mean, loosely based. At first, I thought it wasn't based at all. And then I was like, well, this is actually very similar.
You're like, this is starting to sound very, very similar.
And I like to add, okay, so, I'm a mom. I have two boys. I
Yeah.
moved from to LA. That's very similar. Um, but there's the drama of the real reason she moves to LA or tries to come to LA for a little while is she's trying to renegotiate the open marriage she thought she wanted. And that's not true in my life. I remember I had a friend who had an open marriage, and I was kind of fascinated. And I always knew as a creator, I thought, like, okay, that's like going to be something with drama, and I'm going to explore that in a story form.
Sure.
um a husband and two boys, that's enough chaos for me.
Totally right. I'll stop there. Yeah, I feel that. I've got two kids. I've got two boys as well,
No,
wife and two kids.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're older. So that's where the inspiration of that came from. So she goes to LA under the guise of a new job, but really she's there to close the open marriage. And her husband, now that his life is going great, isn't really interested anymore right now.
Mm, mm,
Okay, sort of separated.
mm. So how do I want to put this? Like, walk us through how you put that together. Like, what are the steps to get to the final product?
Okay, so SAG had an actor strike, so I did a lot of writing then,
Mm,
and I had a pilot, and I had this idea, so I started writing all of season one, and then I thought I need to shoot something because this could be. I could maybe, if I was lucky, I could sell this to somebody. It's all you know good fortune, shining on you. But what I really wanted to do as an actor is I wanted to write this for myself and populate the cast with larger name actors than myself. So that was kind of the big goal. And I think that's a lot of actors' goals when they create content, particularly a TV show, and particularly something that's so close to home. I mean, I could and did, play this role well. So, you know, I knew this was like, okay, this is definitely in my wheelhouse. So I shot a short based on the pilot to give just sort of a feel. And now I attracted some interest, and now we're going around and now we're packaging it
Mm.
and got some interest. So that's exciting.
That's not
And
necessarily that you need to get big names. You just need to get people that are really good actors.
yep, that's right. And investors and a production company.
Sure.
This would probably be the tone, the theme the themes. It would probably be on a streamer. I mean, everything's practically
Everybody, yeah, like it, yeah. I mean, I know that some actors and some filmmakers and stuff we've talked over the years of they kind of like, oh, it's you don't want to go right to Netflix, you don't want to go right. It's like, why not? Who cares? That's where
no
everybody is.
has shifted, right? The dream has shifted.
Totally. It's like weird to like, what? You have a theater release? What?
Like so crazy.
Yeah,
Everyone has to get out of their pajamas and go.
yeah, totally, right? Like, what? No, I'm not. No, no, I'm not paying $12 for popcorn.
I
It's,
know.
it's 30 cents in my kitchen.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. No. When I occasionally go to meet like theaters
yeah.
and movies, it's so crazy because I'm like, I used to do this all the time.
I know,
But now
right? And what was the last theater movie you saw in theater?
oh, I'm afraid to say Transformers.
Oh, no way. Okay. You know what? That's like eye candy though, right? It's really hard to get away from that stuff. It's so like it
Cry.
grabs you and
I was like, have I lost my mind or is this pretty good?
yeah. Is that still Michael Bay doing that
I
stuff?
It felt that way. And
Yeah.
we watched other ones and they were definitely him. Well, they are him.
They are him for sure. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't, he's probably still somehow still a part of it.
He's
You know?
probably like executive producer, like, don't mess with what I've set up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is perfect.
And what is your earliest memories of like television and movies and stuff?
Oh, that's interesting. When I well, Sesame Street.
Yeah. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
I
Doo,
hated
doo.
it. I hated it. It was like one of the only things I was allowed to watch, and I just found it and Mr. Rogers, and I was just like, I guess I just thought I was much older than I was. I was like, I need something much. This is for babies.
Mm, mm.
I need something grown up.
Interesting. So your parents were kind of strict on what you were able to watch. Do you think that
Mm,
that played into you traveling down this path?
I think most normal like parents were like, just watch this stuff. You're not going to watch like HBO. You know.
Yeah, true enough. Super channel with the squiggly lines. Like, I can't see everything.
Oh my god.
So what were you being influenced by then, I guess, like as a kid? Like were there specific shows or specific like once you were able to start watching shows, like were there specific actors that you were like, "Oh man, this is what I
I
want to do."
Yeah, because I remember I always mention this when I saw younger actors, kid actors, I was like, I want to be a kid actor. My
Mhm.
parents weren't gonna bring me to auditions, they weren't going to have that,
Yeah,
but I was like that, like Drew Barrymore and Firestarter,
sure.
E.T.
And E.T. originally, right? Like some
Yeah,
huge movies in our lives, right?
mhm, I know. I know. And I remember being like, that is something I could do right now. What is stopping me?
Yeah. Yeah, and I wonder what like the percentage of because I know a fair amount of child actors crash and burn, and I wonder why that is. Like, what's the difference of?
I think the environments for sure are different now. There's like the on campus tutor, basically, the on-set tutor and wellness checks, I think for sure with kids. But
Yeah,
actually thinking about this yesterday. So I remember I was on a ski trip with my parents, and there was a movie playing and in like a theater area of the lodge. And I um there was a young girl in it, like who was one of the main characters. And a couple of years ago, I looked her up because I thought I remembered feeling like here I am on this ski trip, which is also wonderful, right? I'm on a
Mm.
ski trip with my family. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
wasn't suffering in my childhood. I'm on a ski trip with my parents, watching a movie at a lodge. Um, but I saw this and I looked her up, and she died, from substance abuse in her early 20s. So and that certainly could have been my path because I'm sober for 14 years, so that certainly could have been my path.
Mhm.
And you just never know. But I feel like nowadays people are much more cognizant of the signs. But it still happens. I mean, we still have it, as examples we see in the culture today. I mean, there's still people who, substance abuse and stuff like that. That can take people down.
Yeah, and I don't think that's really necessarily the industry. It's just society. Like it's not you can't pigeonhole like, oh, it's film, it's TV. Well,
Totally.
guess what? I'm not in film or TV, and I've seen a lot of drug use and abuse, and
Yeah.
through broadcasting, radio, podcasting. Like it's
Right.
just life.
Yeah, totally. Totally any life.
Yeah, yeah.
Particularly if
How
you have,
old? How
particularly,
old were you when for your first paying role? How old were you?
let's see. I was probably in my 20s. Yeah.
Okay.
A feature film. I made my first feature film in my 20s and acted in it. And then I kind of got discouraged and I went into theater for a while. And then I decided to kind of get back. Then I was cast in a commercial and I thought, oh my God, this is fun. I want to do this. I forgot how fun this is. So I kind of went back into film and TV full throttle. You always like, I think most people, they have this in and out a little bit, because there's times where you get frustrated with the industry,
Sure.
but it always pulls you back, at least for me.
It always pulls you back
Yeah,
in.
kind
Yeah,
of back in.
yeah. Do you think it's imperative to have a manager?
Um, well, actually, honestly, I have a manager and an agent, and most of the auditions I get are just ones I found myself. But
Mm,
I think you can have ones where they're just much more connected. And yeah, you know what? Actually, I think at a higher place, you probably could even just use an entertainment lawyer because that's really at the end of the day what you need. You need someone looking at the contracts,
sure.
and you can make your own decisions.
Y Yeah, yeah, of course, but it's always nicer to be like, "No, you gotta talk to my manager.
it,
Sorry, I have
there's
no time right now."
it's a buffer. Everyone should have one.
It Yeah, yeah, yeah. Were you a drama nerd then in high school,
Yeah,
or you
yeah,
were?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was the lead, and so at first I was a little bit sporty, and like I played varsity tennis, and I ran track and cross country, and then
Oh, wow.
once I got into theater, I dropped it all, and that was it, just
Right,
theater.
right.
Yeah,
And so what are the differences, and I guess what do you like better, like stage acting or behind the screen?
I like film and TV. I went to NYU for film and TV. I like
Yeah,
I
I saw
like
that. That's cool.
I like the craft of it. I
Were you a
like
good student?
yeah, I was a good student.
Yeah.
I liked it, you know?
Yeah. Well, it helps when you like it.
I know, I know.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like I like also, and I'm sure I'm not alone, that you get a couple takes.
I know, right? But also, wouldn't that kind doesn't that kind of mess you like in your head knowing that like, oh, if I fuck up, I can just do it again?
And less and less people have time. They're doing less and less takes these days.
Oh,
People move faster. Yeah.
I wonder
Yeah.
what that is. Like in the hopes of maybe getting it to
Time
stage
time
or
and money.
time and money. Fair, fair. Like how long did it take for you to do your project?
Well, it took about a week to shoot the short, and then I made that into like a sizzle reel trailer, and that's what we're using currently to shop around.
Okay.
And I'm more from the film world, and so this is really my first TV series that I've written, and then I'm working on selling right now.
Is
So
that the hardest thing is selling it, trying to get people to invest money into the project?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah,
So how do
that's
you go about doing that?
So I have this producer I'm working with, CC Clearly. She has some connections because she made a couple, she's produced some films, one called 40 Love and one called To Leslie, which got an Academy Award nomination for Best Actress.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so she's in the mix, and a lot of it has been it's a chicken or the egg, right? Like, are we going to get talent, like a big showrunner, director, or who will bring talent, or do we get money and then you can get talent? And so
Mm.
it's sort of a question of which one to go with first, and we've been sort of toying with that and working on both.
And truly, it doesn't matter, like, as long as one fits.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious what, like, because of course you create stuff for us to watch and, star in and all that, but what do you watch? Like, what are you binge watching?
Oh no. Well, actually, okay, so there's two different watchings I do. I do like real watching. Like I watch shows on, like everybody. But then
Mm,
I started this in the pandemic and I still do it. I like work out now to like I work out now to reality like HGTV because there's no plot and I don't have to really concentrate. So like if I'm running,
sure.
I actually watch quite a bit of it. And I think I used to run with not listening to anything, and I used to also do Audible, and I still do some Audible when I walk and run. But I've lately been loving just I don't even now go to the gym anymore. I just work out at home and I watch reality junk. And it's one of the only things that actually turns my brain off.
Mm,
Yeah, no, and I also meditate, which is a different kind of turning your brain off. But that release of just like watching something mindless and exercising is like something that I really enjoy.
yeah, no, I get that. Like, I can do that too. Like, HGTV for me is one of my favorite. I don't have cable anymore. I dropped it about a year back, but when I was watching cable TV, like Property Brothers,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
such a great show.
I
And
know.
it's not, you like you say, you can kind of just have it in the background,
Yeah.
give it a couple of minutes of your attention or whatever, and you're not going
Yeah.
to lose the plot. Like,
No,
what's going on? Oh, they're still building this house. I get it. Okay.
things again and again in case you
Yeah.
miss. I mean, that's something about reality show. I don't really understand why there's like so much repeating because there's not really commercial breaks anymore, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
And I
all about
was through Max actually, you
which,
know,
sir?
Max. All of the HGTV is on Max.
Oh, right. Yeah. 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 Of
That's
course. Of
I
course.
watch.
Yeah.
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 Do you have Max or not?
I don't think I mean, I think we probably could get it here. I don't know that I don't personally have it. I mean, I'm Netflix, I'm Disney, I'm Prime, Sportsnet.
It's enough.
Yeah, it's at that point of like, well, I don't watch most of it. Like the other day, I was like, I think I'm going to get rid of Disney. We never
Yeah.
watch it. My kid's like, what?
I
I
we
always watch blah blah blah. I was like, oh, I didn't know you watched that.
I can't believe it, but I don't even think they know that Disney Channel exists that we could pay for.
Yeah, right.
I think I'm going to keep it to ourselves. I'm not
Yeah,
going to.
good call. Good call. Um, I want to get into more of your life in a sec, but I want to ask you. It could be an easy question. It could be a tough one.
Okay.
Could you pick one career highlight and nail it down to one thing?
You know what just came to mind? So I think it's important to say. I wrote and directed and acted in this film, Central Park Dark, with Tom Sizemore,
Okay.
and
Oh, cool.
God rest his soul. When we were filming, I had a moment. We had a powerful emotional scene. And for, as an actor, or to speak for myself, like I was pretty nervous, like, because if I wasn't gonna do a good job with this scene, and there's things like this in every movie, every story. It's like if I didn't really do a good job with this, you know, it
It's
had
not
to be
believable.
yeah, it had to be good. There's a lot of scenes that are easy, you're walking or something, you're
Sure.
looking at a book or something. It's like pretty easy compared to some things. And we were on set and I really felt it and I felt like I definitely felt like I did a good job and I delivered. And that's a very I'm really hard on myself. So there's not a lot of times when I actually feel that way. It was so satisfying, to really feel that. And yeah, that was one of them. And also when I sold the film, and it's on Amazon, to High Octane Pictures. That was a real moment. But like everything in life, you think when I remember I admired filmmakers who'd had their features distributed, right? But
Mhm.
then get that it's like it's just one more thing. Just like when I wanted to have children, now it's like now I have new problems. It's like
Yep.
that is life. It's always like a different, like I'm always moving the finish line. And in fact, I always want to try to be like, I've done these things. I've arrived. I've actually achieved some of these things that I wanted,
Mm.
but life moves so fast. It's really important to take that time and be like, look where I am, you
I
know?
totally agree. Like
Yeah.
100%. And then I also like what you said about, constantly moving
Hmm.
it's like set goals for yourself. How do you know if you're doing all right if you're not
Yeah.
picking off those like milestone markers?
I know. But it's like I barely give them acknowledgement. Like I finished writing the season and then it was like jumping into, trying to make more meetings, and it's just like I've been trying to be like, you are going to slow down and you're going to concentrate, on enjoying this, that you've arrived here. I remember there was a time I really wanted to move. There were different parts in, like, when I was in New York, I really wanted to move to LA. I'm here. Like all even big and little things,
Yeah, that's great. Great answer. That's exactly how I feel too. Like little milestones. It's hard to
Really.
pick certain things because everything kind of accumulates to where we are today.
I know. I know. And then to just be like, okay, then that next thing, like I
Yeah.
remember when I had I was doing the press for Central Park Dark. And I was like, I just really wanted to get some, news channels. And then I was like, well, now I got those. Now I want a national. I really need a national. And
Yeah.
that changed my life. I got one, but it didn't change my life,
You're like, yeah, I got it.
but I got
What's
it.
next?
I know, exactly.
I love that. I love
More,
that.
more.
Let's get into your life a little bit. What was the music in your house as a kid growing up? What are your parents playing?
Oh, yeah, there's still things I still like and I actually think they don't like it anymore, which was like Neil Young, Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Um I just love those. Those are my, and Cat Stevens. Those are still my
Sure.
jam. Like
I
not
mean,
all the,
it's like comfort music, right?
yeah,
Put it on and it just feels so good. It feels so right.
but if you listen to it too much, then it doesn't have it anymore. It doesn't
Yeah.
have the spark and the vibe. So, I also listen to other stuff, but when I return to it, especially if I haven't heard a song in a while and it's a particularly good one, it is exactly like comfort music. Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty mind-blowing. It's just really good,
So good. Like Cat Stevens' Wild World, all of a sudden transformed
I know.
you, you know,
I know.
in
I
that moment.
love the more random ones, like he has a one like O Caritas and like
Yes.
some different ones, and those like are even more specific because you don't hear them as much, and it's like,
That's great. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in Rhode Island. My
Okay.
parents my dad works for the EPA. He's a marine chemist, and my mom studied that as well, but she mostly was a stay-at-home mom for us.
Okay.
And so actually a lot like here, it's, a beach culture. We would go to the beach in the summer and stuff like that.
Mhm. Nice.
Yeah, and it was suburban. I knew I wanted to be in a city. I mean, when I was pretty young,
Yeah.
I like, wow, what's that? Like, if we go to Boston or something and be like, whoa, this is what I'm talking about. I wanted excitement.
No, fair enough. Yeah. And so were your parents like, would they drag you to concerts and stuff too? Or
Oh no, they are very isolating people.
Mm.
We would listen to music at home. But actually at the beginning, like early on when I was younger, my dad had a band and they would play those songs. It was
That's
pretty.
cool. What does your
My,
dad play?
my mom played the banjo. My parents are both still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
What did your dad play?
the guitar.
Mom's banjo, dad's guitar.
Uh,
Did they sing too?
People from the lab and they would play, and it
Yeah.
was like great for me. It was like excitement, which is always what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's cool. What was your first concert?
um, I think it was Jethro Tull.
What? That's a great first concert.
I know. No. Oh my God. It's
Well,
so crazy. Like I don't even know how that happened. Like there was some older person who had like, there's always those older kids in the periphery, like an older teenager, and somehow
yeah,
I wasn't supposed to go, but somehow I went.
that's cool. What stands out still from that? And how
It,
old were you?
I didn't know it was like mostly one guy. I knew nothing about it.
Yeah,
Isn't it just mostly one guy with like a
good.
uh
His flute or whatever. That yeah,
it was like what? It was just like what is happening?
that's crazy. That's a pretty good first show, though.
It was really, really crazy.
Yeah, yeah. Let me hit you with something that you may have never been asked. Do you have a near death story where you're like, holy shit, I could have died there?
I have a lot for sure.
Really?
Yeah, because being like sober 14 years, that's a reason that I'm sober 14 years. Like,
Sure.
well, like the last night of my drinking and using, I was like in a warehouse with like a man. This is pretty intense for you. So
Mhm.
I'll try to make it a little PG-13. Um, like I was with a man who like just got out of prison and like he was like beating me up and there was like a knife and a gun. And I remember being like, if I get out of here, I'm going to go to my sister's and start counting days, which is a thing. You just count days of how many days you're not having like a drink or something. And I
Mm.
did that. Oh my God.
Yeah, like those are like the moments of like, holy fuck, if I can just get through this, I am gonna turn my life around.
Yeah, yeah, I was determined, and I'd said that many times, but this was like the final one. And there was also another one where, like, sort of a junkie held me up with a knife. There's things like that. And then also, like, even when I was 21, I fell. Um, I walked into a bar, and there was like uh, a door, like a hatch that would go down to the basement, a straight ladder. And I walked into this dark bar and I said, someone's going to get killed if, you got to close that.
Mm.
Anyway, fast forward like an hour later, I'm walking backwards
You're the
on
one.
the bar. I fall in it. And I remember falling and I had a silver sweater in my hand and an umbrella. And I remember falling. And then I woke up in the hospital. And I was afraid to move my body because, you know, um, I was afraid and I was like, please God, please guys. And because, I thought maybe I could be, you know, um,
Paralyzed or
yeah,
something. Sure.
yeah. But I had like some neck problems, but it was, I don't now. And it wasn't even very long. And then I
Mm.
have one more in Canada. I
Mm.
went,
Does it
Banff,
involve a moose?
Banff, Banff.
Banff. Yeah, in Alberta, yeah.
I fell off a chairlift, but that wasn't a near death experience. But I tried to dramatize it. So I
How
fell
did
off this.
you fall off a chairlift? How
I
did that happen?
That's what you do by fooling around.
Dicking
And
around, yeah.
fell and fell and fell. And then I woke up, like and in the snow, and I had blood in my mouth. And my brother still jokes about it because when I finally met up with them, I was like, this blood is not from my mouth, meaning like it's from my organs, and I'm dying. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
probably cut my mouth.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, Sybil, I'm gonna ask you two more questions and thank you. I'm gonna respect your time here and wrap it up here pretty quick. I want to know if you believe that aliens have visited Earth.
Honestly, like truthfully, the jury's out for me. Like I truly don't know. I truly don't know. Maybe, maybe yes. Maybe yes. We'll say maybe yes.
Like a fair amount of proof. Like
Yeah, there is.
has
There is.
like I think wasn't it during COVID that the government US government was like, yeah, we're seeing spaceships and yeah, they do turn at the 90-degree angle and they can fly at Mach 5 million and whatever, but I think it kind of just got lost in like that news shuffle.
I feel like we hear this stuff and then it gets lost, and there's never enough that's like, okay, I saw it right there, and
Right.
everybody did. Like but I think you're right. I think in reality they have visited. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, and there's so many people like that get just lambasted by saying like, "Oh yeah, I've seen them," or "I got abducted," and people are like, "You're crazy." But like, why would you say that if it didn't happen?
I feel like maybe I got abducted.
What's that?
like maybe I did get
Oh,
abducted.
I thought you said I have to admit I got abducted. I was like, what the?
Might have,
You should have led with that.
might have been. You just reminded me.
Yeah, yeah. All right, last question. If you could have a superpower, which power would you want to have?
Um, you mean like the classic ones, like superheroes?
Yeah, like flight or teleportation, read minds.
Read minds.
Read minds would be pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I mean, all of them sound pretty fantastic. Teleporting sounds pretty great too.
Yeah.
And there's an element where I feel like I'd also want it like a Dorian Gray thing where like I never grow old, but
Mm.
that has a bad ending. So I mean a sad ending, you
Yeah,
know.
like everybody around you would be dying all the time. And
Yeah.
if you could, like, what age would you want to pause
Say,
life at?
I don't know, 27.
27 is a pretty good age. What were you doing at 27?
I was like making a film.
Yeah.
You know what? 19 because
Ooh,
you
I
think
don't know about that.
the world is like I got it all figured out. There's no problems. I got this. Life is easy. I'm a hot shot. 19 maybe.
I'd go 27 over 19 personally.
All right, well, we'll wrap with that. But I also think we can also just infuse that energy into our lives today. You know, like we
Yeah.
can just have that energy now.
Yeah, 100%. What did I read the other day? And I was like, oh shit. It was like something along the lines of like, you're never going to be as young as you are today. So live it up,
Totally.
essentially. Just like, oh, such great advice.
I know it's so true.
Such great advice. Yeah.
So go
What's
be super immature.
right? Yeah. Let's go do some immature shit after this. What's the plan for you for the rest of the day?
I have a meeting and then I'm gonna do my workout in front of HGTV
Good.
and a little bit of writing and then another meeting, then pick up the kids at school,
Nice.
bring them to baseball.
Oh, cool. Oh, they're
Yeah.
baseball? Mine are hockey and kickboxing.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh, active.
That's so cool.
Yeah, kickboxing, pancration. It's basically like you watch UFC,
I know what it is.
MMA. Yeah, he's learning mixed martial arts,
Oh, that's so cool.
and
That's
he's a little beast.
oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's
I was
it's
like, so
it's
much
super fun. It's kind of like he wants to get into the fights and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can watch my kid getting the shit kicking. I don't know about that,
no, I cannot. I
but I
cannot.
but I'll
There's
probably say yeah. Like if he wants to, I'm not going to be like, no, bro, just learn the arts. Like if you think you can do it, go nuts. I guess. Like right.
Oh
Anyway,
my,
Cybil, I'll let you go. Thanks again for jumping on the Toddcast here in Vancouver. Where are you most active online? Like, where should people go and follow along?
Instagram, Cybil Lake. And I also have a website, cybillake.com. And also my production company, you can see some of the film stuff, morganeaglepictures.com. Morganeaglepictures.com. You can see the videos and everything else.
Awesome. Great
Well,
to meet you.
so much. This was so awesome. Thank you so much.
Right on. Well, have a great day, and we'll tag you when we're throwing this stuff around online.
You too. I can't wait to see it.